Well, hello there. If you're new here, I'm breaking down the I Know What You Did Last Summer television series, episode by episode, with plot descriptions and my thoughts on each. These videos are very spoiler heavy, so if you haven't seen the show and you want to know what happens, I suggest you go back, watch it first, and then come back to this video series. Now let's get into it. Today we're going to be looking at I Know What You Did Last Summer, Season 1, Episode 6, entitled At Least You Had a Spare, which dropped on Amazon Prime on October 29th, 2021. And as a reminder, at the end of the last episode, we had a body count of 6 people and 1 goat. Now here's a quick recap of what we've learned so far. Lennon and Allison are twins. Allison, along with Lennon's friends, hit Lennon in the street, killing her, and now Allison is living as Lennon. That's the big secret, and someone out there knows it. And that someone has been tailing Allison, sending text messages to her and her friends, generally menacing her, and now killing lots of people. 2 of our initial red herrings have been ruled out, and 1 cop that got a little too close has been eliminated. We now know that Clara the cult lady was in the tidal cave when they got rid of Lennon's body, and the crew have gone to her compound to investigate. And, in a cliffhanger ending, the fate of Riley is unknown, but it's not looking good for her. Now we picked this new episode up shortly before the last episode ended. Riley is attempting to escape through the jungle that surrounds the compound. We also see a little more of Allison escaping and jumping a fence. We see Clara pursuing Dylan, blasting holes in things with her shotgun. Yikes. And Margot steps in some goat poo. Burn. So Riley makes it out to the highway, and then she texts the crew to tell them that she's okay. And then she tries to flag down an approaching vehicle, which just happens to be, guess what? A black truck. Man, everyone has a black truck in this town. Anyhow, this black truck attempts to run Riley down because, of course, it's a bad guy. It chases her for a little while before she figures out that she needs to duck between some trees where a vehicle can't follow. After a short while, she thinks she's all good, and then wham, she gets hit by the truck. She's not done running, though. She hides behind a tree and attempts to call her mother Courtney, who is watching a couple of idiots fight. This part was kind of heartbreaking, watching her mother just blow her off when she's stuck in such a dangerous spot. While I can't show you what happens next due to YouTube's community standards and guidelines, I can tell you that Riley is first stabbed through the chest with the bloody machete, and then her hand is chopped completely off. Then, for whatever reason, it shows us a flashback of her stealing people's prescription drugs to sell to her customers, I would imagine. And then, a moment later, she wakes up. Riley's not dead. But don't get too excited. If you've seen this series, you know what's coming up. Her mother Courtney then wakes up with a hangover and looks for her daughter. Now, she can't find her, but she's not panicking yet because remember, these kids are still kind of wild. Margot helps Allison, who is still posing as Lennon, track down the mysterious Fred Phillips, who seems to know a secret that Lennon figured out. And all she needed to do was join LinkedIn, Facebook for work. Dad comes to Margot's to see his daughter, and Margot tells him to pound salt. And hey, have I ever mentioned Margot's security guard before? He's always been there, never really said much, but he's always just a few steps away. And guess what? He drives a black truck too. Everyone has a black truck. Anyhow, Dad leaves, he's grumpy. Courtney visits Dylan's place looking for Riley, and Dylan creeps up on her like a creep because he's a creep. But he is genuinely freaked out by the fact that Riley never made it home. Courtney then storms off to the police station and tears a literal strip out of Lila. Lila can't really do anything until Riley's been missing for a certain period of time. Courtney absolutely does not appreciate this answer, and she storms out of the police station. Now, the surviving OGs have a team meeting to discuss Riley and to try and figure out where she is. But Margot's security guard interrupts partway through. And hey, we've seen him twice in this episode now. He tells her that she has an appointment that she needs to go to, and that's that. Allison and Dylan decide to go out to look for Riley in the jungle where her phone last pinged. They have a conversation about nothing and then hear a noise off in the bushes. But phew, it's only a dog picking at something. But what is that dog picking at? That dog is picking at Riley's severed hand. Gross. They decide to take it home with them. Now, Riley's phone all of a sudden comes online and someone texts her mother the word help, and then sends a pin location. She does one of those U-turn on the highway deals and almost kills a bunch of people and speeds off. Whoa, look at Margot's personal arsenal. She even has a rocket launcher. Jeez. Courtney heads out to the former cult compound where Clara lives to look for Riley's phone pin. When she does find the phone, it's sitting in a hay bale of some sort with Riley nowhere to be found. Now, when Courtney grabs her daughter's phone, it sets off a clever Saw movie type trap that loops a wire noose around her neck, tightens it, and then raises her off the ground with some dozer type vehicle. It's very clever and looks brutal. At the same time, a separate pin location is sent to the OGs by Allison's phone, sending them to the Tide Caverns, followed by a message saying bye-bye Riri. Diabolical. They believe that they've been sent there to watch Riley's body flush out into the ocean. Meanwhile, no one knows that Riley is still alive, crawling in the dirt looking for help from anyone. The cops raid the home of Clara and find all of her secret stuff. Most notably, the cold spiders in the basement and Courtney hanging lifeless in the yard. This is very sad. I don't think that she deserved that. Dad has a little meeting with Allison outside Margot's house and drops a megaton truth bomb directly on her head. The twins' mother, his ex-wife, is still alive. She didn't perish with the cult all those years ago. She left and formed a new family with Fred Phillips, the LinkedIn guy. Lennon knew, and that's what caused the fights between both Lennon and Allison on the party night and Lennon and her father. Naturally, Allison is not too pleased to learn about this and storms off. Now it's nighttime and Riley is still crawling in the dirt looking for help. She's so close to a house where someone might be able to save her, but she can't go on. Riley looks up at the full moon and then passes away directly in front of her eyes. Absolutely tragic. While Dylan is carving Riley's name on the rocks of the tidal cave because he believes that she's been flushed out into the ocean, he encounters Clara's secret lair. Or her secret lab, I guess. It's the place where she keeps everything covered in honey. The cult has some sort of secret process where they preserve things in honey, and it's never explained how or why. But it is gross. It just so happens that Clara's in there too. She tells Dylan that the tide is coming, and then the show ends. Now, if you've already seen the series in its entirety, you know what he does, but we won't talk about that until it comes up in the story. And the credits roll. Okay, so this week made up for last week in the body count department, and now we're sitting at 8 people and 1 goat. Oof. The killer wiped out an entire family this week. Not cool. Rest in peace, Courtney and Riley. The 2 best characters in the show wiped out in the same episode. I have to admit, Riley's death made me cry. She was so close to safety. Okay, so Clara's honey cave. Very gross, right? Why has no one smelled this? Everything is completely open. Sure, that cave is down a little side channel, but honey has a smell. Corpses definitely have a smell. And why aren't there insects all over that cave? I'm sorry, but that's just crazy. Not to mention the whole deal with honey stopping decomposition. So this episode was another really good one, despite the fact that it was so tragic. We're careening towards the end here with only 2 episodes left. There's a lot left to tie up in 2 episodes. Allison's mother is alive. Holy crap, what a revelation. Dad is finally starting to come clean with his secrets. So overall, I rate this episode an 8 out of 10, like the last one. Very strong showing, and despite the fact that I can't stand most of the kids who are still with us, at this point watching the show, I was still very invested in learning who the killer is. So please join me for my next episode where we break down the I Know What You Did Last Summer television series. As always, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button at the bottom of this video. It costs you $0, takes you 1 second, and you can subscribe to as many people as you want. In fact, if you do, you'll be notified of all the crazy things that I get up to on my channel. So please do so, and join me for my next episode. Goodbye!